Step 1. Choose a suitable motorcycle for the student. The motorcycle should be short enough that they can touch both feet on the ground flat-footed, lightweight and not overly powerful. For example, a 750 Cruiser would be more suitable than a 600 sport bike. Any of these type motorcycles are very good for teaching people. Just look at how the professionals at the MSF do it. Light but too much power would be some of these sport bikes. They're great looking bikes. I love them too. Not suitable for somebody riding for the first time. These are suitable power but too heavy. These 1500cc Cruisers, and of course the infamous Honda Goldwing, which weighs about 900 pounds. Step 2, find a safe place to teach, a parking lot or farmland. Getting on and off the motorcycle is the first lesson. I usually teach getting on and off the left side, to be careful of the exhaust pipe that's mounted on the right side of most bikes, and then quickly bringing up the kickstand. Being familiar with the basic controls of the motorcycle is important too. We'll look at the speedometer or a tachometer if equipped, turn signal, high beams, and a neutral light, which you can see is powered on as soon as the ignition is turned on. Throttle by twisting toward you. A kill switch, which is probably not familiar to somebody who's just driven cars, needs to be in the run position, and the front brake, which is on the right. The clutch, which is on the left, that disengages the engine from the transmission. You also want to have that in when you start the motorcycle. Here's the shifter. Everything on the left side of the motorcycle is for shifting, and everything on the right side is for braking. There's even a diagram here. 5-speed manual transmission. Most people are used to automatic transmissions. So first, neutral is between first and second, third, fourth, and fifth, or in motorcycle slang, 1 down, 4 up. So we do most of our operating when we first start the motorcycle in neutral. From neutral, we're going to press down to get into first, or we're going to lift up a half click to get back into neutral, or up a full click to go from first, skip neutral, to second, which we'll talk about a little bit later. A very elementary explanation here is that the engine is spinning and the wheel is stationary. We're going to use the clutch and first gear to get the wheel spinning. Neutral we use when we start the motorcycle. You can tell by the neutral light and the free rolling motorcycle that the motorcycle is in neutral. I like to teach to not grab the throttle initially, but to have your palm flat. This allows you to grab the front brake and not have inadvertent twisting of the throttle. To shift the motorcycle into first gear, we're going to grab the clutch with our left hand, press down to shift into first gear, and then we're going to slowly release the clutch. That's going to get the engine spinning and the wheel spinning as well. We're going to keep our right hand on the front brake and not accidentally twist the throttle like that. So this is what it looks like. I'm going to put my left foot, I'm going to go from neutral to first by pressing down, and I'm going to click back up a half click like that to get back into neutral. Going around the right side of the bike, the right side is for braking. This lever on the right foot peg is to brake the rear wheel. Talk more about shifting. We're going to shift a half click up from first into neutral, and I'm going to roll the bike forward and backward. That's going to prove to me before I start the motorcycle that it is in neutral. In my personal experience, using the instructor demonstrates, student emulates method works very well for teaching motorcycling. I recommend talking through what you're going to do, demonstrating it, let them ask questions, and then try it themselves. Promptly correct mistakes and critique. It's important to learn correctly right away. So the first exercise, I'm going to have the person roll around on the motorcycle with the motorcycle off. Starting the motorcycle involves turning on the engine ignition, using the choke if necessary, engaging the electric starter or kick, slowly releasing the clutch, and talking through emergency engine stopping. So here we go. I'm turning on the ignition. I'm rolling the motorcycle back and forth. You can also see the neutral light. I'm bringing in the clutch, and in this case I'm using the kick starter, which you'll see from this view. So now that the engine is running, I'm going to show you a different motorcycle. I'm turning on the ignition here, same thing, verifying it's in neutral. There is the electric start switch right there, and I'm pushing that. The engine is started. I'm slowly releasing the clutch. You want to do that just in case the motorcycle was accidentally left in gear. So now I'm going to bring in the clutch, put it down into first. As you can see, the neutral light went out. I'm going to lift it back up into neutral. You'll see the neutral light come back on. This is a good exercise, just to show the person there's first, there's neutral again, just to show the person what it looks like. Alright, now starting off, hand is going to be flat, not gripping the throttle. I'm going to have my palm flat so I can easily access the front brake. Now squeeze with both hands if you get worried. That's something that I teach. If something starts going wrong, just squeeze both handles. The right is the front brake, the left is the clutch. That's going to stop the whole operation safely. And it's also good to show the person what it's like to kill the engine, like I just did, just to show them that there's nothing to be afraid of. So again, letting out the clutch, okay, to stop. I'm going to bring the clutch in on the left, bring the brake in on the right. That's going to stop everything. So now I'm going to simulate applying full throttle accidentally, which the person shouldn't be doing at all. So that's full throttle, stop. Now I'm going to simulate losing control left or right of the motorcycle, and same thing. Just squeeze both handlebars. And on a different motorcycle, the stall, letting the clutch out too fast, bringing it back up into neutral, just to show the person that stalling the bike is nothing to be afraid of. So the first basic drill, transferring power from the engine to the wheel by pressing in the clutch, shifting it into first, and then slowly releasing the clutch. Drill number 1 is finding and utilizing the friction zone. The friction zone is the point at which the engine first starts to grab by releasing the clutch. So you'll see as I slowly let the clutch out, the motorcycle is going to start to slowly move forward. Then we're going to bring it back in. So I'm going to put this in first, the neutral light is out. I'm going to slowly release the clutch and you'll see it just starts to move forward. Right away I'm going to bring it back in. This is all this exercise is doing, is getting the feel, just slowly tiptoeing along, letting the motorcycle move under its own power and then stopping. I recommend doing this repetitively. On a different motorcycle, same demonstration, just slowly walking the bike. Bringing the clutch back in, bringing the clutch out. You can see the bike's moving on its own, bringing it back in. So here's a tip: if your motorcycle idles too low that the bike stalls easily without adding throttle, you can temporarily turn up the idle speed. This makes it easier for the student so they can just concentrate on clutch work. Once they have that down, turn the idle back to normal and incorporate smoothly adding throttle while releasing the clutch. The next drill I do is, after the student has somewhat mastered the friction zone, have them work toward getting the clutch all the way out and their feet up. Your feet should come up just as soon as the motorcycle starts moving fast enough. Repeat this until you're proficient. Drill 3, once the clutch is all the way out, have the student begin to smoothly add throttle. This is after the clutch is all the way out though. And on to number 4, putting what you've learned into real-world riding application. You're going to approach the motorcycle, sit on it using safe and proper technique, raise the kickstand, prove that the bike is in neutral by rocking back and forth, turn on the ignition, note the ignition or the neutral light, start the motorcycle, see that the clutch is slowly released, shift into first, smoothly transition through the friction zone to movement and throttle application, smoothly stop the motorcycle, shift into neutral, and shut it down. Here is a demonstration of what we've learned so far. I'm swinging a leg over, I'm bringing the handlebars upright, tipping the motorcycle upright, kickstands up, turning on the ignition, noting the light, I'm rolling, started the motorcycle, I am shifting it into first with the clutch in, I'm slowly accelerating, putting my feet up, and riding in a straight line, and then through the magic of editing, I'm coming back around, putting the bike in neutral, stopping, and shutting off the engine, bringing the kickstand down, setting the bike on its side, making sure that it's secure. This is usually a good place to stop as we've covered a lot. Make sure each skill is done proficiently before moving on to the next. This will prevent holes in knowledge and an uncomfortable or scared of the bike, unsafe rider. A nervous rider, or one that is in over their head, is a dangerous motorcyclist. This is one reason a rider should always start on an appropriate motorcycle. The next video we will build on these skills and utilize them toward accelerating and shifting into higher gear.